Sometimes a person is not bad at conversation. They just freeze the moment the phone rings. A number pops up on the screen. It is not a scam call. It is not a delivery driver. It may even be someone they know. But they still stare at the screen for a second. Should I answer? Should I let it ring out? Should I text first and ask what is going on? That little pause has become so normal that we barely notice it anymore. But if you go back 20 years, a ringing phone usually meant one simple thing: pick it up. Now, for many people, the first reaction is not to answer. The first reaction is to calculate. Is this going to bring me a problem? Do I have the energy for this right now? Does this person expect an immediate response? Can I see what they want before I have to deal with their voice? So at first, this looks like a tiny phone problem. But behind that phone is a much bigger change. We have become used to communication that can be edited, delayed, deleted, ignored, rewritten 3 times before anyone sees it. And once communication becomes live, once it cannot be edited, once another person is waiting for you in real time, people start to feel exposed. That is the first clue. Maybe people did not suddenly become socially broken. Maybe the training environment changed. Because a human being gets good at whatever they practice every day. If you practice typing, you get better at typing. If you practice sending memes, you get better at sending memes. If you practice leaving messages unread, you get better at disappearing. If you practice writing one sentence, deleting it, rewriting it, and sending a cleaner version of yourself, then of course you get better at online expression. But sitting across from a real person is different. They can see your face. They can hear the pause. They can feel when you are trying too hard. They can wait in silence. And if you have not practiced that for a long time, the ability starts to rust. So this episode is not about how to become charismatic. It is not about memorizing conversation tricks. It is about a stranger question. Why do we have more ways to talk than ever, and yet so many people feel less able to talk? Look at the next scene. A dinner table. Several people sit together. The food is already there. Everyone says they want to catch up. Then a phone sits on the table. Maybe it does not ring once. Maybe nobody even picks it up. But as long as it is there, it is like one more person has joined the meal. A silent person. But everyone knows this person can interrupt at any moment. A message might arrive. A work chat might light up. A short video might pull someone away. A tiny red dot might drag your eyes away from the face in front of you. There was an experiment with more than 300 people eating with friends or family. Some had their phones available. Some kept their phones away. The result was not dramatic in a movie way. Nobody threw the dinner table over. The food did not suddenly taste terrible. The people did not suddenly hate each other. They were just more distracted. And they enjoyed the social time less. That is what makes it scary. The damage is quiet. You do not walk away saying, "That meal was ruined because I looked at my phone." You just feel that the conversation became thinner. You were together, but somehow not quite together. You sat at the same table, but part of everyone was somewhere else. Conversation does not only need words. It needs presence. And presence is slow. It has small talk. It has pauses. It has moments when someone goes off topic and you follow them for a while. It has the strange moment when you were about to argue, but then you realize the other person is actually sad. Real conversation has a live room around it. You cannot fast forward that room. You cannot play it at double speed. You cannot cut out the awkward 3 seconds. And a lot of us have been trained to dislike those 3 seconds. Then came another scene. Life after isolation. After the pandemic, many people returned to offices, classrooms, parties, and dinners. At first, it seemed simple. Put on clothes, go outside, see people again. But once they were actually in the room, something felt off. Small talk had to be thought about. A handshake felt like a decision. A joke felt riskier than before. When the conversation paused, the hand automatically moved toward the phone. Some health and psychology groups describe this almost like a muscle that had not been used. That comparison is useful. If you do not run for a year, your legs feel strange when you start again. If you do not talk face to face for a long time, your social muscles can feel strange too. That sounds a little funny, but it is also honest. Conversation is not something we are simply born knowing how to do. Think about how people used to learn it. As a child, you were dragged into a relative's house and told to greet people. At the corner store, the owner asked why you were home so late from school. At the barber shop, someone next to you complained about prices or weather. In a cafeteria line, a stranger asked whether the food was any good. At a bus stop, someone complained that it was too hot, and someone else said, "Yeah, it really is." None of that sounds deep. A lot of it is just filler. But filler is often the cheapest bridge between human beings. You cannot start every relationship by discussing the meaning of life. Many relationships begin with something as ordinary as terrible weather today. People in the past were not magically better at conversation. They just had fewer places to hide. They had to buy things, ask for directions, borrow favors, sit in courtyards, eat with co-workers, deal with neighbors and relatives. Those scenes could be annoying, but they were also practice. They trained people to read a face, to catch another person's sentence, to know when to stop, to know when to laugh, to sense when someone is saying one thing but meaning something else. Sociologist Ray Oldenburg used the term third place. Home is the first place. Work is the second place. The third place is somewhere you can show up again and again without a formal appointment. A cafe, a barbershop, a library, a community room, a corner shop, a park bench. These places do not look productive. They do not give you a grade. They do not make you stronger in a visible way. But they produce something slow: familiarity, trust, the ability to chat without a big reason. If you meet a person once, silence is normal. If you see them 10 times, even a nod starts to become something. If you see them 50 times, you may know their dog's name before you know their job. Conversation does not grow out of nowhere. It often grows from repetition. Same place, same faces, low pressure, again and again. But many third places are disappearing, becoming more expensive or becoming more transactional. You sit down, you feel you must buy something. You stay too long, you feel awkward. Neighbors do not know each other. Co-workers leave and disappear into separate screens. There are many online groups, but fewer familiar faces in real life. So we lose the little chances to say something with no clear purpose. And when those chances disappear, relationships become more functional. Work, transaction, dating, networking, asking for help, getting something done. There are fewer moments when you simply bump into a person, say a few useless words, and move on. But those useless words are social lubricant. They keep a society from turning every sentence into a notification, a price quote, a request, a command, or a position statement. Now look at another strange part. We are not expressing less. We are expressing more than ever. Group chats, comments, posts, stories, memes, reactions. Some people are very funny online. They can make a sharp comment. They can compress an opinion into one perfect sentence. They can react faster than anyone. But that is not the same as conversation. Comment sections train positions. Short videos train reactions. Group chats train jokes. Conversation trains relationship. And relationship is messy. The person across from you is not your audience. They do not exist to applaud your line. They might misunderstand you. They might go quiet. They might talk about something you do not care about. They might look uncomfortable right when you think you are being brilliant. And then what do? Do you keep performing? Or do you stop and ask, wait, are you okay? That is the difference between expression and conversation. Expression is sending yourself outward. Conversation is sending something outward and then watching whether another person catches it. If they do not catch it, you adjust. That back and forth is the hard part. That is why someone can be loud online and quiet in person. Not because they have no thoughts, but because offline life has no draft box, no undo button, no delete key. If you say the wrong thing, the other person's face is right there. If you are boring, their eyes drift. If you push too hard, they pull back. If you are too cold, they feel rejected. Real conversation forces you to keep seeing another person. And many modern tools help us avoid exactly that. Delivery apps reduce talking to the restaurant. Online shopping reduces talking to the salesperson. Navigation reduces asking for directions. Self-checkout reduces talking to the cashier. Remote work reduces bumping into people. Short videos reduce waiting for anyone to finish a thought. AI can even write a more polished reply for you. All of that is convenient. I use these tools too. The problem is not that they are evil. The problem is that when convenience removes every little friction, it also removes many chances to practice being with people. A child used to buy something and ask, "How much is this?" Now they tap. A student used to ask a teacher and organize a question out loud. Now they ask a search box. An adult used to reject someone face to face and say, "Sorry, I cannot." Now they can simply not reply. Efficiency goes up, but an old ability goes down. Facing another person. You can see this in time use data too. In the United States, the amount of time people spent with friends face to face fell sharply over the past 2 decades. One commonly cited comparison shows time with friends falling from about 60 minutes a day in 2003 to about 20 minutes a day in 2020. That is not only a loneliness problem, it is a practice problem. If you spend less time with friends in person, you practice less of the tiny things. Eye contact. Pauses. Repairing after an interruption. Disagreeing without breaking the relationship. Sitting next to someone when they are sad. These are hard to learn from a tutorial. You have to practice them on people. But we should be careful here. This is not a simple story where the internet ruined everyone. That would be lazy. For some people, the internet is where they first found people like them. Some young people feel isolated offline, and online spaces give them support, creativity, and a sense of belonging. Pew Research Center has found that many teens say social media helps them feel more connected to friends and gives them a place to express creativity. So the problem is not online connection itself. The real question is what role it plays. If online connection helps you walk toward real people, it can be a bridge. If it replaces real people, it can become a wall. A bridge and a wall can be made of the same material. The difference is where they lead. Seeing your friend's update is not the same as hearing why that day was hard. Liking a post is not the same as asking, "How have you really been?" Sending a meme is not the same as holding another person's emotion for a moment. Modern life gives us many light connections, But too many light connections can make deeper connection feel unfamiliar. It is like eating snacks all day. Your mouth keeps moving, but when real food arrives, you have no appetite. So why does it feel like people are forgetting how to talk? Maybe people did not become worse. Maybe the road changed. Older life was full of small conversation training grounds. Phones had to be answered. Directions had to be asked. Meals had to be shared. Neighbors had to be seen. Co-workers had to sit together. Familiar people had to be greeted. Annoying? Yes. Useful? Also, yes. Those scenes kept people from fully leaving other people. Modern life gives us better tools. Safer distance. More controlled expression. More comfortable avoidance. And then one day we realize we did not suddenly forget how to talk. We just have not spent enough unedited time in front of real people. So what is the right move? It is not memorizing 100 conversation topics. It is not forcing yourself into fake networking events. It is not becoming the loudest person in every room. That is exhausting. And it is not real. What we need to recover is smaller. Small scenes. The first small scene is giving phone calls back to people you trust. Not 10 calls a day. Start with one person. Someone safe. Do not send a long message. Call for 5 minutes. Talk about one small thing. The weather. What you ate. Something dumb that happened. The content is not the point. The point is letting your brain hear a real person in real time again. The second small scene is moving the phone away from the dinner table. Not because you are morally superior, because when the table has one less silent interrupter, the table can become a table again. At first, it may feel awkward. Good. That awkwardness is where the ability starts growing back. The third small scene is finding a low-cost third place. It does not have to be a fancy cafe. It can be the same breakfast place. A park near your home. A small bookstore. A basketball court. A weekly offline activity. You do not have to make friends immediately. Just show up repeatedly. Many relationships are not created by a dramatic conversation. They are created because two people stop being strangers. The fourth move is to turn conversation from performance back into observation. Many people fear conversation because they think they are responsible for making the room interesting. You are not. Before you evaluate, ask one more small question. Someone says they are tired. Do not immediately say, "Me too." Ask, which part has been the most tiring? Someone says work has been rough. Do not immediately give advice. Ask, is it the work itself or the people around it? A lot of conversations do not die because there is nothing to say. They die because we are too quick to take the topic back into our own hands. And finally, allow conversation to look a little ugly. Real conversation is not a show. It is not a short video. It is not an edited interview. It has filler. It has awkwardness. It has mistakes. It has moments when you think later, that sentence was not great. But relationships grow in those imperfect moments because you repair. You explain. You apologize. You meet again. That is what conversation really trains. Not the mouth. The willingness to stay with another person. So the next time the phone rings, you do not have to answer immediately. Of course, you have the right not to answer. But you can notice the reaction. Have I gone too long without letting a real person enter my day in real time? The next time a dinner table goes quiet, you do not have to reach for your phone right away. Let the silence sit there for a few seconds. Maybe someone will say, "I have been tired lately. Maybe someone else will say, "Me too." Many relationships restart from openings that are not beautiful at all. We think we lost the ability to talk. Maybe what we lost were the roads that helped people slowly move toward one another. And that is the road worth finding again. Not so we can all become social experts, but so life does not become so convenient that the screen is close and the people are far away.